Alrighty, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for coming to our sophomore parent night. You all are soon to be juniors, August, in a couple of months. And we are so excited about making sure that you all know what's in store and what's in the future for your junior year that's coming up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves. I am the second photo. My name is Miss Kennedy. I am the Director of College Counseling at Yes Prep Southside. This is my 7th year in education. Previously, I was at Yes Prep Southwest. And this is next year will be my 2nd year at Southside. So really excited about having our founding college initiatives team, which is what CI stands for, and making sure that all of our students who are graduating from Southside have the opportunity to pursue life after high school, whether that be 2-year, 4-year college. More about that later. But I'm Miss Kennedy. Ms. Porch, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, I'm Miss Porch. I am the college counselor at Yes Prep Southside. This is my 2nd year at Southside. Last year I taught web design, and before that I was at Yes Prep Northside for 6 school years. So I'm excited about being a part of this team and looking forward to working more closely with you and your students as they head into junior year.
Ms. Wabara is our junior seminar teacher, so she'll be your teacher, your student's direct instructor for one of our cool classes that we have here at Southside, which is junior seminar, which prepares students to take the SAT and explore stuff about colleges and their career. But also, fun fact about Ms. Wabara, she is in the Army Reserves. There we go. And she's actually at training this week. So you'll see that we support a number of ways to go to college and pay for college. And so I just wanted to share that tidbit about why Ms. Wabara could not join us tonight. And then the last member of our team is going to introduce themselves.
Hello, nice to meet all of you. My name is Miss Hayward. I'm the other college counselor. I'm going to be Miss Porch's right-hand woman. I'm currently at Southwest, but we're closing out the year, and next year I will be at Southside with y'all, and I'm so excited to be working with you guys, and I can't wait to meet all of you. Forgive me, guys, I'm driving, so I'm going to turn my camera off so you don't see me make faces at people in their cars.
Please be safe, Ms. Hayward. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started on our next slide. Alrighty, so I'm going to talk just briefly about the pathways that we support as a college initiatives team. So our name is a little misleading. We don't just support college as the only pathway for a life after high school. We actually know in reality that a lot of students will be on 2 or more pathways. College is very expensive. I myself worked to put myself through school. I know Miss Porch did as well, and I do believe Miss Hayward. And so we understand that students might not have one pathway, but actually a multitude. So we currently support students who are interested in a 2-year college or earning an associate's degree. We support students who are interested in a 4-year experience, so that traditional college experience that we've all seen on TV. The workforce, so if a student is interested in getting a job right out of high school, we also work with them to make sure that they are able to pursue a career, not just a job after high school. So what job are they interested in, and how can they make sure that they are putting themselves in the best position to get that? And then also we support students who are interested in going into the armed forces, whether that's directly after high school or if that is through another pathway like the Army Reserve or any other program that allows students to use federal resources from the military to pay for school. So we support your students in a lot of ways, and we know a lot of information about opportunities that they can take advantage of in any of these various ways. Okay, Ms. Porch, you're up next. It's still me. Okay, so we have a short amount of time here with you today. And so we're going to try to cover the highlights of what's very important to know about junior year coming up. So we'll talk about why junior year is so important for your student and students, what you should be focusing on for junior year. We're also going to talk a little bit about the SAT and other resources that we have for you all for next year, including your class schedule. So if you're excited about that, that's coming up. And then we're also going to give you parents and guardians just some tips on how you can support your student as they go into their junior year and making sure that they're taking advantage of all the things that they can be in this pivotal year. And then we'll also have some space for questions for you all, just in case you have some questions and you want them answered.
All right. So, as we have, I think Miss Candy has already said, junior year is a very big deal. It's one of the biggest years for your student's academic career. Many people think senior year is the biggest year, but actually, most students will be finished applying for college or making decisions about like what their pathway will be after high school by December of senior year. So their academic stats are finalized for the most part in junior year. Um, so in junior year, your students will apply to college with their GPA from that year. So whatever GPA your student has at the end of junior year is the GPA that they will use for their college applications. Students take the SAT twice, and our students will take the SAT twice for sure by the end of their junior year. So when thinking about junior year, some of the things that are really important about that year, once again, are test scores, your GPA, the high school courses are finalized in this year. And then this is when we really begin to think about like what the plans are for your student after high school. We do a lot of career exploration, begin to do pathway exploration. So there's a lot that goes on in junior year, which is why we think it's really important, and which is also why we are having this meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Porch. And then if you can't wait, can't hold your excitement, thinking about what academic experiences you'll have next year, which I know we all are. These are the courses that students will be taking in their junior year. So they'll be taking English 3, Environmental Systems or AP Environmental Systems, U.S. History or AP U.S. History, PE or dance, and then also junior seminar. So a couple of things that I wanted to point out about opportunities that your student has for next year. I think you'll hear the word opportunities maybe a million times on this call. But as you can maybe already tell, we, the College Initiatives Department, really want students to have experiences, and we want those experiences to help them make the difficult choices that they have in life. What do I do? What do I want to, where do I want to work? How am I going to make money? We want students to have experiences so that they can make these choices and feel good about them. And so some of the opportunities that students will have next year is they will be able to take up to 2 AP courses. So you'll see that we have AP Environmental as well as AP US History. So if your student is not already enrolled in AP courses and you're thinking about a way to help push rigor or help them learn about what college might be like, having them take an AP course is an excellent way to do that. And your student has a choice of picking U.S. history. So if they're more into history and dates and things like that, or AP Environmental Systems, which is a science class. So if the science is their jam, then they are able to do that as well. And then Ms. Porch talked about this a little bit, but in junior seminar, it is the class that we have completely devoted to helping your student explore what excites them and what they're going to be doing after high school. So those are just a little bit of the opportunities that your students have academically next year, as well as what their class schedule will look like. And we are doing double block courses next year. Alrighty, let's talk a little bit about our academic goals. So on the screen, you'll see three numbers that are really important will be really important to your student next year. So they're 3.0, 1010, and 2x. And so these represent the academic goals that we have for juniors next year. Some of them are pretty lofty, so I'll explain what they are and how we plan to get there. So one of the things that we'll be recommending is that all students aim for 3.0 next year. So I know, especially after this COVID semester, some of our GPAs are not where we want them to be. But the cool thing about academics, especially your transcript, is that you can start building a narrative of taking academics more serious semester by semester. So this year, we're going to encourage all of our students to try to hit a 3.0 for the semester, for the fall semester and for the spring semester. So even if they didn't have a strong year last year or they're not as confident in their GPA, they can start to build that narrative of making sure that academics is at the forefront of their life. The other number that you'll see up there is 1010. So that is the goal number that we have for students taking the SAT. So as Ms. Porch mentioned, oh, Ms. Porch, can you put yourself on mute, please? Thank you. As Ms. Porch mentioned earlier, students will be able to take the SAT twice next year. And so during that time, Ms. Porch, go back. Thank you. During that time, they'll be able to work their way up to this score. And so 1010 is really important because studies have shown that students who are able to reach the 1010 threshold for the SAT genuinely perform better in their freshman year. So if your student is interested in college and we're interested in them going to college, we also want them to be successful. So if a student can get to the 1010, that's the secret number that College Board has studied that says that students who get there are more academically or more likely to be academically successful at college and pass with a C+ average or more in their freshman year. So not only going to college, but being academically successful. And then that 2X, you might have already guessed, is for students taking the SAT twice.
All right. So as Miss Candy and Miss Porch told us at least 2 times already, you're gonna take the SAT 2 times. So get excited now. It's great. You're gonna love it. So what that means is you have at least 2 opportunities to get that 1010 or higher. So what we need you to do, since the SAT is a really, really big deal, is we want you guys to start studying hard as soon as possible. The great thing about Southside is you do have to take those SAT tests 2 times, but they will pay for it. Each student will get a fee waiver that will cover the cost of the SAT you take in December and in March. Okay, so you don't have to worry about anything, just studying hard for it. Not only will college applications ask for the SAT, but a lot of scholarships will ask for the SAT. And it's very important that you give them that information because there are big bucks out there for y'all just for getting certain SAT scores. So if they are looking for a 1010 and they are offering at least $3,000, send them that SAT score so you can get that money. Get this money, y'all. In addition to that, in Texas, we have a law that says that if you have a certain GPA or a certain SAT score, you are automatically admitted to that school. So what that means is, let's say you didn't do so great your freshman year or this year, your sophomore year, you can still be admitted to pretty competitive schools with your SAT score. I've seen so many people not meet the normal requirement for U of H in particular with their GPA, but they exceeded the SAT requirement for U of H and they were automatically admitted. So if that's you, it's totally fine. There are still opportunities out there for you to get into your dream school with just your SAT. That's me again. Sorry, guys.
No,
So
I think
this is
it's me, isn't it?
okay.
I think it's me.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
me. No, you're okay. It was me. I had a delay. So SAT scores are just one of the two things that most colleges will look at when your child applies. So the GPA is the other, and as Ms. Candy already mentioned about having a 3.0 or higher, that's the goal, right? So sometimes if your child's GPA is not as high as they would like it to be, if they score high enough to meet the college admission SAT requirements, then it may help them at least get looked at by the admission reps. SAT scores also play a role in students getting accepted into certain majors at different universities. So, they may get into U of H, but they're interested in, I don't know, let's say the engineering program, then having that a certain SAT or will help them get into that program versus just the school in general. Additionally, getting accepted to at least one 4-year college or university is a graduation requirement at Yes Prep, which is something that, of course, was communicated to you when your student became a part of the Yes Prep family. So this is something that we will be working on as your student heads into junior year, and then, of course, when they get to senior year. Your hand is raised.
I just wanted to chime in on that slide as well. So as Ms. Hayward discussed with automatic admissions, that's a little bit of what you're looking at on the screen. So here you can see the automatic admission standards for U of H and the automatic admission standards for UHD. So you can see exactly what Ms. Porch and Ms. Hayward were talking about, with the SAT being a way in which if you score high enough, you can be automatically admitted to the school of your choice. So you'll see with UHD, they have that 930 SAT score. So if your student is pushing for that 1010, I know that they can get to 930 because we're aiming for a number that's even higher than that. So if they're able to get to that 1010, then they will be automatically accepted to UHD, and their GPA will count less towards them being able to be accepted. And then similarly with U of H. So just wanted to point that out of what the boxes on the screen were communicating to you all in case you had any questions. But automatic admission is really amazing. I have a super cool Excel spreadsheet that tells all students exactly what each college has for automatic admission. So if you have a college in mind, students, get excited because you can learn like tomorrow what GPA and what SAT score you need to have in order to get in, and you can start working on that like tomorrow or today. Okay, and so I wanted to talk really quickly about some ways that parents and families and guardians can support your giants while they are in school and while they're out of school. So the next part of our program is really going to be talking about ways to make sure that students are being successful and make sure that students are taking advantage of their opportunities. So when we're back in school in August, checking grades weekly. So we have Skyward, which was new this year, and we're all kind of still learning it. But Skyward is pretty amazing when you think about the parent capabilities in there. So when we get back in August, I know we're going to do a lot of programming around understanding how to use Skyward to check grades, to do progress reports, and to see your students' progress in their class. So get excited about Skyward and the ability to really be able to progress monitor how your students are doing in certain classes. We also will be using Khan Academy next year. So in case you didn't know, Khan Academy is a free website that uses a student's practice SAT scores to give them individualized practice on the SAT. And we love Khan Academy around here because studies show that if students do 20 hours of practice on Khan Academy, then they are like statistically able to increase their score by 39 to 100 points. So Khan Academy is proven. It is an excellent resource for students. So we'll be doing Khan Academy in junior seminar. So having that, like taking that for a grade, but also I just wanted to point out, parents, it's not just for a grade. It's an excellent way to help students boost their SAT scores and save you some money in the college application process or the scholarship process. And then lastly, just reaching out to teachers about students' grades. Now that we have teams, teachers are more accessible than ever, and it is so easy for you to be able to get connected to your students' teachers and see what needs to happen in order for your student to be successful, especially with Teams, Schoology, and Skyward, the S trifecta of success. So please make sure that you're using those resources to stay on top of grades and make sure that your student can be academically strong this year, especially if your student is taking AP courses and it might be the first time that they're doing that. And then also families, for yourselves, making sure that you file taxes this year. So I know the biggest question, or if you haven't filed taxes this year, talking to myself or the other college counselors about what you can do about that, because I know a lot of questions that we usually get at parent meetings are about like the cost of education. How can we make sure that our student gets scholarship dollars? How can we make sure that our student is able to access all the financial aid that they can? And a big part of that is going to be the FAFSA, or I do not know what the FAFSA stands for off the top of my head, but I know the first word is free and it's about money. So the FAFSA is something that will take all of your information, like your taxes and your assets, and determine how much money your student needs to go to college. And so that document is reliant upon your taxes and having your financial information in order. So your students will be using this year's taxes, 2021, to determine how much financial aid they can get in 2023. Okay, I'll say that again. The taxes from this year, 2021, are going to determine how much money your student is able to receive financially from the federal government, from their school in 2023. So if you're anything like me and you misplace things sometimes, please make sure that you know where your 1040 is, or you know where those receipts are, or other things that have to do with what your expenses were this year, because your student will need that in their senior year, and that might be like 2 years later. So just wanted to put that on your radar now. And then the biggest tip that we can give you all, families of our giants, is just to start talking with your student about what are they interested in, what schools are they looking at, and talking about how you'll make this decision about college or about after high school together as a family. So you should start talking about what are some of the boundaries that you have. Like, are you willing to let your student go to Iowa if they have enough financial aid to go to do so? Or would you be more comfortable if your student was at a really good school like Rice or U of H? I highly suggest that you all start having these conversations now about what you want, what your student wants, what's going to work for a family, so that by the time you get into your junior and senior year, you already have like a plan in place. Like, okay, I know I'm shooting for Rice, then I know I need to get that GPA up. Or I know I'm shooting for U of H, I know I need to get that GPA up and I need to keep it strong. Or I'm interested in going out of state, my parent is interested in going out of state, but we just need more support. So maybe I can get in touch with alumni who are out of state, or other people or other families who've done that before, and start talking about how are we going to pay for school. As I mentioned earlier, I think everyone on this call in the CI team is like more than comfortable helping you discuss something that can be really sensitive, like money and how we're going to pay for college, or how we're going to build a life for your student outside after high school. It can be really tricky, but I think it's okay being like, I don't have any money right now for my student to go to college, and we need to get all of the scholarship dollars. I have had that conversation with many a parent, and I have been like, all right, it's go time. Let me put on my scholarship hat, and me and your student are going to meet every week to get that money. So I think if you start to have these conversations now in the summer, in the fall, when we get back to school, you'll be in a really good place in your senior year to go out and get the bread, get the scholarship so that you can go to any college you want to. Ms. Porch, you're on mute.
Good old mute. Sorry. Another way that you can support your giant is to begin thinking about, in terms of college in particular, is first to think about like standing out to admission reps. Some ways to do that, and we'll talk more about it in junior seminar, is to attend college visits and tours. And when you do these college visits or do college tours, whether they're through the school or externally, you want to make sure you follow with the reps. Send them an email. You have a school email that's very professional. Just say, hi, it was great hearing from you. I would like more information about blank, 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 right? That way that you become on their radar, and when you submit your application, they're like, oh, I remember that Ashton sent me an email. I'm going to add him to the top of my list, right? Another thing that will help you to stand out with admission reps is to get a summer job. Everybody's trying to work, it seems like, so which is a great thing. So get a summer job. It shows you are responsible. It also means you can start saving money. Your student can save money towards college or other things that they will need as they head out of high school. Volunteer with a nonprofit organization, whether that's a shelter, the food bank. There's all different types of ways to, build community service hours. Apply for and participate in student opportunities, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a moment, but this is very, very important. I regularly share student opportunities with our students because they're very, very important. And so apply for these and participate in them. And then lastly, engage in school activities, whether that's sports, student council, clubs. I know that, of course, in this COVID year, things were kind of different, and ACE was like virtual-ish, kind of, sort of. And so things were very different, but as they head into junior, just be thinking about ways in which you and your student can get very involved in school activities. And now to student opportunities. I'm really, really passionate about student opportunities. These were things that I knew absolutely nothing about at Sterling High School and Madison High School. They did not exist to me. And so I think it's super important to share them with your student. These are things like pre-college programs where students can take classes at a college, whether in person or virtually. They're internships that we find and share with students, volunteer programs, winter and summer camps that center. They can be around a certain interest. They also can be around like improving academically, like we're doing a SAT prep program at Southside this summer, which is the first time that we're doing this. We also have study abroad opportunities now that COVID's kind of like starting to fall back. Hopefully those will open back up. So don't be afraid of these opportunities. Really, really go for them, because honestly, a lot of students who do not look like us have these opportunities. And so it's really important for your student to have these opportunities, regardless of whether they're going to college or getting a job after high school. These things will look good on their resume, whatever they
I'm confident that Ms. Porch was going to say do. Ms. Hayward, do you have anything to add to this before we take questions?
Please, 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 I'm gonna repeat what Ms. Kennedy said and Ms. Porch. Please take every opportunity you can. Your junior year summer opportunities are fantastic. I've had so many people write about their summer opportunity for their college essay, and they were like intrigued, like the people at the admissions office were intrigued and asked them questions about it if they had an interview at the school. So please do any type of opportunity in the summer, and please do your Khan Academy. It works. Seriously, it works. That's it.
Okay, at this time, if anyone has any questions, you can come off mute. We would love to hear your voice or see your face, or you could type us a question in the chat, and we'll try to answer it to the best of our ability. So if you have any questions about junior year, or college or the military or any of the various things that we brought up for next year, please let us know.
Hi, just a quick question about the summer opportunities. Do you guys have a list of some of the different things? I know they can volunteer like the food banks, but do you guys have like a list of opportunities or suggestions that we can apply for?
So, what I would we do have a list, but it's updated on a regular basis. The opportunities for summer tend to be provided in like March, January through March, which is when I posted them in the 10th grade hub. But I will post where you can find opportunities, and I do post them when I find them. As far as in being that it's already June, some of the best opportunities as he's like preparing for junior year will probably be volunteer opportunities, because it won't require him to go through a lengthy application process. But as he heads into junior year, I will be posting these opportunities, and it'll be really great for him to apply, and I will update them on the website as well.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to drop the
Excellent.
link in the chat.
Any other questions? We know you have them. Share them with us at this time.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
The SAT, how many times can a student really take it? Is it best to only take it 2 times or more than 2?
So we recommend that students take it at least twice. Most students take it 2 to 3 times. So colleges will do something, most colleges, not all, I will say that, but most colleges, especially the colleges that our students tend to apply to at Yes Prep, they will do what's called super scoring. And so it sounds really like, serious, but it's actually pretty cool. So super scoring means that they will take whatever score your student performed best at, no matter what time they took it. So let's say your student took, let's say Kyra took the SAT twice. And so the first time they got a 900, but they got a 500 on the math part. And then the next time they took it, they got a lower English score, but their math score jumped to 700, right? So super scoring is taking the best math and the best ERA, or ERW, which is the English part essentially, of whatever attempts your student has. So if a student takes it 2 or 3 times, they have more chances to get a high score on either of those sections. And then you'll just submit the best score you have from the English and the math to the college. So if you take it 2 to 3 times, you give yourself more opportunity to not just increase your score overall, but also increase like the math or the English part.
Okay, and what about what is the other test? The ACT? Yeah,
so
the ACT test.
What's your question about the ACT? Sorry.
Yeah, is that a good test to take too?
So we will offer fee waivers for both the ACT and the SAT. Back when I was in school, the SAT and the ACT were quite different. The difference was the ACT was more math and science based, and the SAT is more reading heavy. But around, I want to say 2016 was the year that the SAT did a huge redesign, and they kind of cheated a little bit off of the ACT to incorporate more science aspects. So the passages that students read on the SAT are now like about mineral ponds and global warming and stuff like that. So now at this point, the ACT and the SAT are quite similar in material that they test on. But if your student is interested in the ACT, we also have fee waivers for them to take that too. So we will traditionally suggest the SAT, since we have a tutoring program built in-house for the SAT. We use Khan Academy. But if your student is interested in taking the ACT, I've had students do that before with fee waivers as well. So you'll have 2 SAT fee waivers, to ACT fee waivers as well. But at this point, the exams are the same.
Okay, do Khan Academy offer the what is that? The study, I can't get my word out. The study guide for the ACT too?
It does not. So I
Oh.
think that's also one of the reasons why if a student wants to take it, we will encourage them to take it and we'll help them get the fee waiver. But a lot of the programs that we use here at Southside are catered towards students taking the SAT. Now I'm confusing the test, but that's why we primarily do SAT.
Oh, okay. And how much is the SAT test anyway? I know it's not 50 no more.
Actually it's 55 unless a
Oh,
student, yes, it's 55. And each of our students, because Southside qualifies for free and reduced lunch, they will be able to receive 2 fee waivers, which is, quick math, $110 value. And then we will also provide like a test on campus next year, so that they can take the SAT in a place that they're comfortable, which is on campus.
Okay. And do Barnes and Nobles have like study guides and equipment and for her to get?
Yep. So we will also provide your student a Kaplan testing book. So if you remember SAT back in the day with the big old thick books that look like phone directories, yes. We will. We didn't give one this year. They had a digital book because it was COVID. But we will probably have physical books next year that your students will dread and probably talk about giving them back problems in their backpacks. So yes, they do still have them at Barnes & Noble or any bookstores if you want to get them access to that over the summer, but know that we'll probably also provide either the digital copy or a physical copy of a Kaplan testing book as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And if you want them
And
to
Ms.
get
Kennedy,
practice in,
sorry,
if you want them to get practice in now, while you wait to get the book for free, you can also go to the College Board website because they have a lot of free practice tests or like daily drills that they can do.
And Ms. Kennedy, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the Princeton Review like the Kaplan version for the ACT?
Yes. So if you're interested in ACT practice, you're going to want to look for Princeton Review. And if you're interested in SAT practice, you're going to look for Kaplan Review.
Ms. Kennedy, Christopher Castophany wants to know if you can go over the tax information one more time.
Yes. Can you put the slide back up, Ms. Porch?
Yes.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
If your student is in SPED, when she takes the SAT, will that help extend for her? Will she get any kind of assistance when she's taking the SAT?
Yes. So if your student receives SPED services or 504 services, so SPED services, 504 services, or ELL, English as a Second Language services, your student will receive accommodations on the SAT. So we do have accommodated testing. We will also offer accommodated testing on campus. So this year, our SPED students took the SAT in December. It was really cool. They had their own. We weren't at school at all, so it's just like the 7 of us in a room, and they were able to use all of their accommodations, which can include extra time or time and a half. So the regular SAT administration is 3 hours and 15 minutes, I believe. And then the SAT administration with accommodations or extra time is 50% or 100% extra time. So they will literally have either an extra hour in some sections or extra hour and a half to work through the material that is on the exam. And so that's one accommodation. Or students can also have oral administration for the SAT, which is reading the problems to them. Or for our ELL students, they can also request a larger exam so that the words are easier to read and they're able to do dictionary support. So yes, if your student receives 504 services, English as a second language services, or SPED or modified services, they will receive accommodations, the same accommodations that they get in school, on all college-related tests.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. I see that we have another question. Is that the one I'm about to answer?
No, this is someone else.
Okay, we'll take that one and then I'll go over the tax information.
Craig.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Is it a college that accepts SPED kids?
Yes.
Is
So students who are receiving extra services at school are also able to receive services on campus, on college campuses. So lots of students go to college who have different abilities or different academic needs. And there are schools who actually like get awards and thrive off of the excellent services that they're able to give students who learn in a different way. So if you are interested in your student going or pursuing different options after college, after high school, and one of them is college or one of them is a combination of college and the workforce, we have a SPED department on campus that will work with a student through the ARD process to make sure that they're transitioning and literally walk us through how to make sure that your student applies and gets the same services that they get at Yes Prep at their future college in the future. College in the future, not future college in the future. But yes, so at my last school, Southwest, we had an excellent counselor who would literally bust some of our students around who received extra services so that we could physically go to the building where they had to request their accommodations, and they are able to meet the staff early and get more comfortable, because it can be a little daunting to ask strangers that you don't know or give strangers you don't know information about your abilities. And so we'll be doing something similar in the future with our graduating students as well, making sure that they are able to meet the department that gives extra accommodation so that they can get comfortable with that as well.
Oh, okay, thank you.
No problem. And then we'll have, of course, this is just our first meeting of many. So we will have many opportunities to talk in specifics about different opportunities that you might be interested for your student or all students on the call. And then I'm going to go over taxes because I know that was requested. So the FAFSA, or the application for financial aid, federal application, free application for financial aid. Boom, 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 boom. Somebody give me a cookie. That's what FAFSA stands for. That document is going to essentially take a summary of all of your financial assets and determine how much you can pay for your student to go to college. So because of our neighborhood, because of who we serve, because of who we are, and our circumstances, many of our students who receive free and reduced lunch also have what's called a 0 EFC, or expected family contribution, for college. So if your student gets a 0 on the FAFSA, that doesn't mean they don't get any money. It means that the state has determined that because of your resources, you need extra support or extra help to pay for college. And so you can only get the FAFSA completed if you are able to give them the information from your 2021 taxes. Okay, so a year or two ago, the FAFSA started letting students apply with their prior year of taxes. Now, I know that might be confusing, but the prior year for your student is this year, 2021, which means in 2023, your student will be using the FAFSA and putting in information from your taxes this year. Okay, so they did that because, tax season can be complicated. For example, in COVID, they pushed the application for taxes all the way back to May, June?
May.
Yeah, May. Miss Portia saying May. So if we were applying to college this year, like let's say your student was a senior, your college would already need your taxes to be done. right? So because of situations like that, where the tax year might not always match the financial aid process deadlines, the FAFSA decided that people were able to use taxes from the year before that, so that there were not any delays in your student being able to apply for financial aid, because it is first come, first serve. So that is a long explanation to just say that this year's taxes will be the tax information that determines how much your student will be able to receive in federal funding. This year's taxes, 2021, will be the information that the FAFSA uses when your student is a senior to determine how much you can financially contribute to your student's education. So if you have filed taxes this year, keep your documents handy. If you have not filed taxes this year, please, please, please reach out to the CI team so we can talk about some things that you can do to make sure that you still have an accounting of money from this year, of pay for this year, or receipts from this year of other support you have, so that you can use that for 2023. And I think I answered the tax question. Are there any more questions? Thank you all for spending some time with us today. I know we're a little over. We will stay on to answer questions. If you don't have any more questions, you are free to leave the call, and we look forward to seeing you next year. If you do have questions, you can stay on and we'll answer them. Any other questions? Oh, we got a clap. Thank you. Ooh, some more claps. Thank you. Well, this has been Miss Kennedy and Miss Porch and Miss Hayward, and we are the College Initiatives team. And as you can tell, we're really passionate about students figuring out what's happening after high school and joining the real world. And we know a lot of stuff between us all. And so we're happy to use our knowledge to help enrich your student's life. And so if no one else has any questions, you're free to go. We'll stay on for maybe 5 more minutes.